Hi, I'm Rick Maurer. In the last few weeks, if you've been watching, I've been focusing on the importance of space in our work. And I talk about the football player Joe Montana, who, when he would get the ball, it seemed like he had all the time in the world to figure out what he was going to do with it. Was he going to run it, pass it, hand it off? What was he going to do? And I gave other examples as well. And I want to use one that's a favorite of mine, and it comes from the world of comedy. It comes from Groucho Marx. And if you don't know who Groucho Marx was, he started in the early part of the 20th century in vaudeville with his brothers, called the Marx Brothers, oddly enough. And then he made a number of movies, many of which are some of my favorite movies of all time. When TV was starting, he had a game show called You Bet Your Life. And on the show, two people would be contestants, and they weren't a couple. They didn't know each other beforehand, but he would just have these two people, and generally they would try to pick people who were kind of interesting or eccentric or whatever. And he would talk with them for a couple minutes, and then they would play the game. And he generally was saying stuff that was really funny. That's why you watched the show. You did not watch the show because it was a great game show. You watched it because of Groucho Marx. And according to George Fenneman, who was the announcer for that show, he said to buy time, Groucho would often use his cigar. Now, Groucho Marx used a cigar back from the days of vaudeville, and then in all of his movies he had a cigar as a prop. So he'd be talking to a contestant, and somebody said where they were from, and then they had some job that seemed like, oh, this is just too rich. There's got to be something funny to say in response to that. And Groucho would just lean back. I can remember it very well. He would lean back and he'd take a puff on the cigar and he'd put it down. And as he's putting it down, he would come back with his retort. And it was often very funny. And the audience has started laughing when he takes the cigar like this, because they know something funny is going to happen. They don't even have to hear what's happening. They're on his side. Now, Fenneman said he wasn't just taking a puff on the cigar. He was purposely buying time. And for Groucho Marx, that 2 or 3 seconds is all the time in the world. I mean, this guy was extremely funny. So he probably was going through 80, 90 things in just those few moments. So I'm not suggesting you take up cigar smoking. But there are other ways that wait a second, pardon me. There are other ways that we could buy time. For instance, maybe we could take a sip of coffee. You notice how I did that so elegantly? It was amazing. Or we can look down at our notes, or we can have a sip of water. There are all kinds of things that we can do that can allow us to recalibrate. It can be helpful for other people. It can be really helpful for us. Skiers talking about a problem getting out over the front of your skis, and it creates all kinds of problems. This sipping coffee or something like that can really buy us a few seconds. And if you can clear your mind during those few seconds, that can be extremely helpful. So, hope you found this interesting. And by the way, if you liked it or you didn't like it, or you have an idea that works for you to buy yourself a couple seconds, please leave it in the comment section on LinkedIn. Thanks a lot.